Okay, picture this. It's Monday, May 26th, just gone, 2025. Liverpool city center is just packed.
Absolutely flooded with people.
Hundreds of thousands, yeah. All in red, celebrating Liverpool winning the Premier League. That kind of electric atmosphere, pure joy.
Total celebration. A city
Right.
united, you
Yeah,
know? After such a great season for the club, it's what these parades are all about.
exactly. But that joy, it just shattered. We're looking at reports here from AP News, The Guardian, other bits he sent over, and they detail this sudden, horrific turn around 6:00 p.m. BST, right there on Water Street.
Yeah, what should have been this high point of the day became something else entirely really awful. So our
Right.
plan for this deep dive is to use these sources, the AP, Guardian reports, and the specifics they give us to, piece together what they say happened.
Understand the event, the immediate fallout, and now these legal steps being taken.
Right, because this wasn't just a shock for Liverpool. The sources make that clear. It hit the whole country.
Okay, let's get into it then. What do the reports say actually occurred on Water Street?
Well, the vehicle itself is identified in the reports as a gray Ford Galaxy.
Okay.
And how it apparently got onto that parade route, which should have been secure. It's pretty disturbing. The reports suggest the driver bypassed a roadblock
Wow.
by reportedly following an ambulance that was actually responding to something else unrelated.
Wow, using an emergency response to get past security.
Yeah.
And then what happened once the car was through?
The reports describe it accelerating, accelerating into the crowd, this really dense crowd still celebrating there on Water Street. The immediate result was just, well, catastrophic, according to the sources.
The injury count is just hard to grasp. Nearly 80 people hurt in total. I think the specific number mentioned is 79.
That's right, 79 people, and the age range is striking from a 9-year-old child up to someone age 78, just everyone.
A real cross-section of the fans out celebrating.
Exactly, and out of those 79, 27 were initially hospitalized.
And the report stressed how serious it was for some. 2 people, including 1 child, had serious injuries.
Yeah. The latest update we have from the sources, that was as of Thursday the 29th, said 7 people were still in hospital. Thankfully, their condition was reported as stable.
Reading the eyewitness descriptions cited in the reports and descriptions of footage, it's chilling. They talk about the car hitting people, 1 person in a Liverpool flag being thrown, the car swerving, people trapped underneath.
Just horrifying.
It's difficult to even picture that kind of scene.
It really is. And, the sources also mentioned the quick response. People in the crowd trying to help, emergency services, police. They were there very fast.
Absolutely. Speaks volumes about their bravery, too. Okay, let's shift focus a bit from the event itself to the driver. The sources name him, and there are charges now, right?
Yes. The driver was identified as Paul Doyle. He's 53, from the West Derby area of Liverpool. And the reports confirm he was arrested right there at the scene.
Okay, arrested at the scene. And he's been held since then.
Correct. Remanded in custody. And then this past Thursday, May 29th, formal charges were announced. They've been authorized by the Crown Prosecution Service, the CPS.
And what are those charges exactly? They sound very serious from the headlines.
They are extremely serious. The sources list 1 count of dangerous driving, but then it gets much heavier. 2 counts of unlawful and malicious wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm.
Grievous bodily harm, GBH, that means really serious injury.
Exactly. Very serious. And then there were 2 counts of causing unlawful and malicious grievous bodily harm with intent, and 2 counts of attempted unlawful and malicious grievous bodily harm with intent.
So multiple counts focusing on intent to cause severe harm.
Precisely. That element of intent is crucial. And these charges, the reports clarify, relate to 6 specific victims.
6 people, and that includes children.
Yes, 2 children are among the 6 victims.
Yeah.
2 of the charges specifically relate to 1 of the children.
Given those charges, especially the GBH with intent, what kind of sentence are we talking about potentially?
Well, the reports mention that charges like these, if there's a conviction, carry a maximum sentence of life in prison.
Life. Okay. And the next step, legally.
Mr. Doyle is scheduled to appear at Liverpool Magistrates Court on Friday, May 30th. That's the information in the reports.
Got it. And the CPS noting that while charges are filed, the investigation is still active, and the charges are technically still under review as more information comes in.
Right, that's standard procedure.
Which brings us to the investigation itself. What do the sources tell us about what the police are doing and what they've said or maybe haven't said?
Merseyside police, working with the CPS, have called it an extensive ongoing investigation, which you'd expect, obviously.
And they're looking at a mountain of evidence, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. The reports mention volumes of CCTV, dash cam footage from vehicles, police body-worn video, and just countless statements from eyewitnesses who were there.
Yeah, piecing all of that together, that must be an enormous undertaking.
Huge. Now, the police have been clear on a couple of key points, according to the statements reported in the sources.
Okay.
They've explicitly stated that terrorism is not suspected as a motive here.
Right, that's significant. Ruled out terrorism and anything else.
Their belief, based on the investigation so far, is that the driver acted alone.
Acted alone, not terrorism. But what the sources don't seem to contain is any disclosed reason why this might have happened, any alleged motive.
No. That's the big unanswered question hanging over this. Based on the public information in these reports, the police haven't commented on that aspect.
So that leaves a kind of vacuum, doesn't it, when you rule out terrorism and say someone acted alone in something this devastating?
It does. And Assistant Chief Constable Jenny Sims from Merseyside Police, her statement was quoted in the sources. She said detectives are working tirelessly, trying to find answers for everyone affected.
Understandable.
And she also urged the public not to speculate online or share distressing footage, which is always a tough ask these days, but crucial given the sensitivity and the ongoing work.
Very true. Okay, so beyond the incident, the charges, the investigation, the sources also touched on some background details about Paul Doyle and the wider reactions, too.
Yeah, they did. The reports mention he's a father of 3, and interestingly, a former Royal Marine commando. Also has a background in IT and cybersecurity.
A former Royal Marine. And what was striking, reading the reports, was a reaction from people who apparently knew him.
Right. Some acquaintances were quoted describing him as normal, well-balanced, that kind of thing.
Which must make the shock even greater for the local community, right? That contrast the sources highlight.
Absolutely. It definitely adds to the sense of disbelief surrounding his alleged involvement in such an act. It's jarring.
And the broader reaction. The reports painted a picture of just deep shock.
Deep shock and sadness, yeah. Not just in Liverpool, but really across the UK.
And there were official messages, too.
Yes. Condolences came from King Charles III and also from the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. Both statements highlighted the tragedy, but also, praised the strength and resilience of the Liverpool community.
And Liverpool FC itself. Obviously, their celebration was the backdrop.
They issued a statement, too, expressing their thoughts and prayers for everyone affected by what happened. Underscores how deeply it hit, especially on a day meant for such positive connection for the city.
So just to recap the key points from the sources. A joyous celebration tragically interrupted. A large number of injuries. A driver arrested, identified as Paul Doyle. Very serious charges filed, including GBH with intent. An ongoing investigation ruling out terrorism, suggesting he acted alone but with no motive revealed. And this widespread shock, amplified by the reported background of the accused.
That's pretty much the picture the sources paint. The legal side is obviously just starting, and the police investigation will carry on trying to find those answers everyone is looking for.
It really does make you pause, doesn't it? Thinking about how a moment of collective happiness, something so planned and positive, can be utterly shattered by an act that, so far, seems inexplicable according to these reports. How does a community even start to deal with that level of shock?
It's profound. And this incident, reading about it in these sources, it really forces you to think about the vulnerability, perhaps, of these large public gatherings, even the happy ones.
Right.
What does learning about this make you think about when it comes to celebrating together in public spaces?